we go. Well, in its final version, radio controlled, 4-wheel drive, hoverboard motors, first person view, so I can actually sit anywhere and drive it with these using the camera. It's a wide angle camera, it's well placed, so you really can see where you're going and actually stop. I've shortened it and taken a bit of the width off, so that the turning radius actually, when it turns on the spot, it actually puts it into its place to do the next line. There we go. I use a T16 jumper, so I can actually sort of get everything. There are actually two hoverboard motherboards reprogrammed using Foshi's firmware, slightly modified. There's not a lot to do to it to use it. You can actually use it with a Y mote, or you could use it with an Arduino if you like. That's the next step, is to get it onto an Arduino. I actually put this further down, and I was worried it might change how it cut the grass. It's just to stop feet getting in, because the blade is from a weed whacker. It's one of those metal blades, tri-blades, sharpened up, and it really spins quite fast, but it cuts really well, and it mulches at the same time. As you can see, I've done a little bit and it's quite mulched, so there's not a lot of grass left around. Otherwise I can just watch it and drive it around without using the goggles or anything, or I could watch it from my PC in the room. I've just got to do that back piece yet to finish up. Otherwise it's all finished electrically. Let's get it switched on. So when the blades, I'll just put the radio on.
Telemetry lost.
Let's turn it on. Up. It'll find the telemetry.
Telemetry recovered.
There we go. So it'll tell me the radio if it loses it, and it actually cuts. It won't turn on. Turning the blade on. Oh, there we go. There's actually a light on the front as well. Sort of indicate that it's the front. Controlling it is one-handed, left, right, forwards and backwards, so that's quite easy. There we go. It's very, very silent, especially when you think the power of these motors. Now I'm going slowly. It will actually, and I'll show you the turning radius. It actually puts it almost into place. There we go, in between lines. Now if I wanted to give it some, I could do, and it still cuts. The blade turns so quickly. There we go. I'll turn. Oh, it's got a. When you go backwards, it's got the truck siren on it. There we go. So it puts it in place. I missed. I didn't show it. It's hard to sort of film and try and do it with this one, with this turnaround. So when I actually turn at the end, it's actually in line, ready to do the next line. Sort of just the right length, and like I said, the silence, it's not going to disturb the neighbours. Oh, I'm not filming again. Slope wise, it's got a safety feature in it that's built in. It uses electrical regeneration on the motors that'll actually slow it down. So what I'll do is, that's quite a slope there, you can't see it, but I'd say it was about 60% slope. So I'm just going to take my hands off the controller, there you go, and it actually slows itself down using electrical regeneration, and it will come back up quite easy. I have to give it a bit of gas. Hang on, up. There we go. It'll take on most ground. It'll cut thick stuff. Have we got any? Well, I haven't. I've been cutting the grass a lot. As you can imagine, testing it. That's quite a slope there, and there's no problem. There we go. I'll take my hands off again. Hands are off, and it slows itself down. The blade, I spent my time balancing it all up, with it being quite a heavy blade. Any imbalance it also shows in the camera, but I get absolutely no shaking in the camera, no shaking on the Well, you can hear it. I've got the microphone right next to it. That's a 24 volt, 120 watt motor that's turning with a weed whacker blade, metal. Thanks again for Patrick for his super wheel arches. I have to watch my melons. Over here in the south of France, we've got our tomatoes and strawberries already, and melons are already planted. Had a few strawberries already. There you go. I'm just that's it. Hands are off. Safety feature, and if it loses the radio signal as well, it'll just come to a stop. Now you can't actually see the slope, but you can if you look like that. You can actually see that the posts, the fence posts. Anyway, I'll have to cut the video off, otherwise it's going to be too long for everybody. There you go. It's working fine. Everything's hunky-dory. I've tested out the FPV. FPV's fine. No shaking in the camera. No vibrations. And I get about. Well, I've run it a few. I've cut the grass a few times, so I'd say it's had about 3 or 4 hours, even more, without a charge on both. Now, the battery for the blade and the camera is normally at 24 volts, and I've been running it a few times. Oh, you can't see it with the shutter. It's at 23.4, and you can actually take the Li ions. It's got 2 Li ions on it, a 42 volt for the wheels, and a 24 volt for the motor. And you can take it, there's 12 cells, and you can take each cell down to 2.6, 2.7, no problem. They're not like lipos, you can actually go down a lot further. 2.6, 2.7, you can go down further, but that's a nice safe spot. Keep long life into them, into your Leons. So I could actually take it down 12, which is 24. Well, I've got 2 times 6 in series, so 24 volts. I could go down to like 4, 6 times 4, 6. Oh, my head's not in it, I'm so tired. I'll work it out. Easy maths, and I can't even get it sorted in my head. But I've got a disadvantage. I'm English, but I'm always talking French, so because I live in France, and some things are calculated in French, some in English. There we go. It gets under stuff, and it's manoeuvrable. There we go. I'll get around this bush, no problem. Oh, there we go. These wheel arches are really great because he did a really good design. Normally you just put them on the back of his. He designed them to go on the back of his, and I just put them on the front as well because I like them. And they're a nice shape. He made them for hoverboard wheels as well because his is, well, it's a bit more, well, a lot more advanced than mine. And he's obviously got better design skills than mine. I'm just plodding along, learning. So, and I'm getting there. There we go. I'm well happy.